How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another race, and this is the State College 2025 Cat 4-5 inaugural Criterium, and up in Penn State. And I am not alone this race. I have two teammates, and one of them is joining me here. So this is teammate Josh. He has been featured in some videos before. He is Blue Suede Shoes. You see his feeds as well. He's been running the camera for a couple of races. So I guess we've done, what, 3 or 4 races now?
3 or 4? Yeah, Hummelstown, Riverton.
Riverton, and then...
There's one more in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Easton, I think?
Easton? Yeah. I think I threw Easton in there.
Yeah. So we all kind of made the trip up to Penn State for this one. So let's go ahead and jump right into it because kind of starts off pretty poorly for me. I guess we actually line up. So Josh is right in front of me here in 85, and I guess we line up okay because Zach's in front of him. So we're sort of all in a line. Unfortunately, I have probably the worst start that I've ever had in a crit. I'm like dead last right now. I completely miss my clip in and kind of, do what I tell everybody not to do when they ask like for, crit pointers, and try to clip in and it doesn't work. So I spend this whole straightaway just chasing. But the good thing is, I do make it back eventually. So there's a hill here, and I like slam it up the hill, and I actually set a new like max power PR. I hit 4 digits over 1,000 watts. Nice. I'm excited. Yeah. And Josh is running a camera as well, but he doesn't turn it on quite yet. I'm not sure how you turned it on in the middle of a race, which is impressive.
Yeah, I was pretty focused on mentally trying to get into the race and was not focused on turning on the camera. So it isn't until a couple laps in when it settles down that I remember to reach down and just hit the button on the straightaway.
Yeah. So you are you're like halfway up this straightaway already, and I'm still sort of going bonkers trying to chase, but I do okay. And I think it's about here that you turn on your camera actually. So it's first lap. So we'll flip to you. So you're like 4th, 5th wheel now?
Yeah, so definitely, Zach and I wanted to try and get to the front right off the line. So right after the whistle, we tried to jump as far up as we could and, control the front of the race as best possible. And I think we did a decent job getting out there.
Yeah, definitely. So you see Zach up there is like 2nd wheel now, following pretty closely. But did you, first lap, I guess, did you find it like super surgy, or were they like nice and smooth out the first lap?
I thought it was actually fairly smooth. Obviously, I think everyone was settling in and coming up the hill. It was a little bit, you'll see it starts to slow up on the left here, but then people try to find their pace, and this guy was kind of close the door on me, trying to get back in. So it wasn't surgy, just a little, I would say, left, right, all over the place. People sort of weaving in and out as they settled in and found their line.
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, and we'll jump back to my camera here in a second. But yeah, so here's back to me. And I'm further back along this straightaway, but there are like huge gaps everywhere. So I think I even yell to, a couple of guys like, come on, like don't leave gaps. Like we need to close these things because, there's massive gaps going on. But it is this straightaway coming up here where I do make up a whole bunch of wheels and kind of like get onto your front pack. But unfortunately, so there's also some rain that is just about starting at this point. So there's a lot to talk about in this race. But so I make up a whole bunch of wheels here, but it is starting to get a little slick. So back up to your camera, going into this first corner, you'll see these two guys like rush up and like what happens after this?
They chose violence, and they go down. I think four of them end up going down in that corner. So we don't attack, but try to sort of keep the momentum going and carry speed. But as you can see, the ground is much darker and a lot wetter than it was the first lap.
Yeah, and it sort of started to rain like pretty quickly. I mean, we're what 5 minutes into the race, and the ground's already wet. So yeah, I mean, it definitely started to get slick. But you're still like there, and I hear you talking actually in the camera. Talking to Zach, saying that you're on his wheel. Meanwhile, me, like I can see you guys right there. So I'm kind of proud that I'm here after chasing, but I'm also starting to be a little leery of the wet ground as well. I'm also kind of like exhausted from chasing a bit, but
you definitely made up 20 spots or so, if not more, coming from the back there. So
and I mean, I didn't really get held up by that crash, but I definitely saw them. Saw the guys on the ground when I went by, and I think they were all okay because they get let in a little while here.
Yeah, I think it's 3 laps later or so they get let in.
Yeah, and that's kind of a discussion point as well. So they kind of, at that point, there's like almost a break, I guess. Like, I don't know if this can be considered the peloton up here or like, but they get let out like pretty close to the front, which I mean, I guess makes sense because they were in the front when they went down. So let's see.
Yeah, so there's kind of a question as to what was the lead group. And so some discussion what was the lead group versus the peloton, and which group they got let out into. So they definitely got released into the front group with us.
Yeah. But look at you here making up lots of wheels and taking the front for a little while. Were you talking to Zach this whole time too?
Yeah, so we were trying to communicate. Again, trying to control the front a little bit. Neither one of us really wanted to go off the front, especially since we were so close to each other. So we chatted. I made some moves to try and get up to the front and get back on his wheel, and then sort of just control it again. Taking some pulls on the front there with each other.
Yeah, and I mean, it was working because I am on the back of that group, and I'm like hurting. So it goes to show, like, how much, not easier, but like definitely how much, how much it hurts the people in the back. So, and it looks like Zach here kind of, oh no, that's not Zach up there, is it? No, you're chasing down some attacks.
Yeah, so I'm chasing an attack down here, and burning myself out a little bit in the process. So it kind of, this is where it starts to sneak up on me because I burn a couple matches trying to chase this down, but I'm also getting a little more leery with the wet ground and starting to lose my brakes here.
Yeah, because you are on rim brakes, and
I am.
It causes some issues. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, I'm still comfortable here. Like I said, to sort of come off the front a little bit. As you said, Zach and I are talking to each other. He yells back to not push too hard. Let's just keep pace and keep some momentum and work together. So I slow up a little bit. Being a little leery at the wet ground, etc. But that's when it starts to creep up on me, and the rim brakes start to become an issue real quick here.
Yeah, because the rain, I mean, it's kind of steady raining now, but it gets real heavy in just a little while here. But this, I mean, the course itself it wasn't terribly difficult in the rain. Like, it's not a technical course, and we could chat about that in a little bit, but it definitely had some challenges with the crosswalks and things like that. So all right, so here we go with Zach kind of doing doing his thing and doing a little attack. And this is the lap, I think, where the guys in the crash get let back in. And Zach also, nearly takes you out here.
Yeah. He comes across my front wheel a little bit, little touch, but we saved it. We're both good. So.
Yeah, good. And I heard him talking as well. I think when you took the front, was it this lap or maybe the last lap? He said don't pull too hard. And I don't know if that was because he was tired or if it's because I don't know, he wanted the field to stay together. I'm not sure.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure either. I just heard him yell not too hard, so I dialed it back a little bit. Again, not knowing whether he was, too far back and trying to get back on my wheel or not. So I slow it down a little bit, sit up a bit, make sure he's back on. And then you saw him kind of come back around me on turn 4 there and, start to make a pull there. So, trying to, work together a little bit. We didn't send anybody off the front. I think Zach probably could have if he wanted to, and then, I could have held back or vice versa. But either way, we tried to, keep the group together and keep the pace up while still working together.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, it definitely works for like the group behind because I'm 3 or 4 wheels back from you, and I'm basically just hanging off the back, and trying to maintain touch. But I also don't have kind of the rain confidence or maybe the risk tolerance that some of some of the younger riders have. So
I'm with you on that
definitely
one.
definitely played a part like later in the race as the rain like picked up. But you see, I think, so these guys are chasing back as well. But there were a bunch of little crashes going on, and so I'm on your wheel now. I don't know if I actually say anything to you. I should have. Oh yeah, I do. There you go. So I think now is the part where like the rain is like becoming super heavy, and it's definitely tricky to do much of anything, I think.
I think one of these, not that one, coming up, I start to drive wide through the turns. From my perspective, and probably the wrong decision here, but I kind of mentally decided that instead of trying to push off the front, that I would sort of drop back into the pack and just carry speed and momentum and sort of settle in. And I think that comes back to bite me as I start to lose more, confidence in the corners, and with the not being able to modulate my brakes, I definitely had to be on them harder, and I start to push through some of these turns a little more than I want to.
Yeah, and I mean, you see me like drifting back now, just sort of like dangling off the back, and I'm definitely with you. I did not want to go down, but so I think now I guess is the point where Zach is like in a break, like further up the road from us. Is that right?
Yeah, so Zach did a good job. I mean, he stayed probably in the top 5 wheels the whole race for the most part. So he's not necessarily putting in attacks, but he's pushing the speed and making sure that he stays up front, with the main group. And over time, that's when it starts to splinter. So we can see he just turned there. So yeah, he's 5th or 6th wheel right there.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, it's still a pretty, fairly big group. So the field started with about 40 riders.
I believe so, just under.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, it's a Cat 4-5 field. As we jump back up to you, it's a Cat 4-5 field, and it's also the Pennsylvania State. You see, you taking slightly wider lines now. It's the Pennsylvania State Championship race for each category as well. So, is obviously a big race for the PA residents. You being one of them.
Yeah, I was thinking about this one all week. I definitely was excited about it, and a little disappointed, but can't change the weather. and next I gotta figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, everybody's dealing with it, but like we said, it's, people have different skill levels and different risk tolerances. I, for one, yeah, wasn't all about the rain. So it was a bit of a shame, because we did, I guess we should say, we did travel up quite a ways. It was about a little over 3 hours for both of us to get here. So we came up like Friday night, with a couple other teammates that you'll see just in a little bit. But we, basically made a weekend of it. So it wasn't, you see more riders. He must have gone down as well. We made a weekend of it. So it was, an investment, both money and time and all that. I mean, it's fun, obviously, but, it was a serious, and ooh.
A little bobble.
You see you almost going over there.
Yeah, I think the front flipped first, and then the back wheel kicked out, and fortunately I caught that little patch in between the zebra stripes and kept it upright. But between the going wide the last lap and that one, it's I'll say my confidence is definitely not there right now.
Yeah. So, all right. So we said rim brakes. What tires are you running?
Continental GP 5000s and not the tubeless 28s.
28s. Okay.
But I probably another mistake. Along with not turning on the camera, I probably should have dropped the pressure down a little bit more than I did. But again, sort of thinking about the race ahead, and unfortunately not thinking about what I could do in preparation to make it better for me.
Yeah, because I didn't even think, like, we were looking at the weather, obviously, because whole 5 bike racers in a house, like, looking at the schedule for the day. We're definitely looking at the weather, and I didn't actually think it was going to rain for this race. I was thinking later in the day, so I didn't drop my pressure at all. So of course in your head you're like thinking about that, but I didn't. There were a couple of times I think I got a little swirly, but I didn't have problems with the brakes, luckily. So I am running disc brakes, and it was okay. But I think that that confidence just wasn't there.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's tough, and it's like you said, I honestly, even though we talked about it, didn't even think about it until the marshal said something before the race and said, we may have to cancel it due to lightning. This is what's going to happen, and at that point, it's a little bit too late, and now it's in your head. What's going to happen here.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you see me kind of, on you now, and you see a couple of these guys sort of doing the same things that we're doing, basically just, trying to survive, really. But so, yeah, I mean, I
really
guess
wide there.
yeah. I think even when I pass you here, you say something like, "I need new brakes."
Yeah. It's it was a tough one, and I think at this point too, with falling off the back, I don't know if we can talk about it later, but we were doubling up in the 3-4 race as well. So I think mentally I said, this isn't happening. I'm off the back. Let's stay upright and survive, and focus on the next race.
Yeah. And I do. So I threw the first part of the 3-4 race in here. Neither of us had a great 3-4 race, but at least we were able to do it with a couple of other teammates. So, so this race ends sort of strangely. So it's meant to be a 40. Oh, you see another little rider down there. So it was meant to be 40 or 45 minutes, right? 45 minutes. Yeah. So before the race, they mentioned something about like if there's thunder and lightning. But I couldn't really hear. I mean, being in the back of the start, I couldn't really hear what they were saying.
Yeah.
So do you remember what they said?
So they announced that if, in the event of lightning in the race, that if it was under neutral, so with less than 7 was when it ended, neutral sport. So for under 7 laps, and there was lightning in the area, and they had to call it, that they would call a bell lap and give one more lap to go, and then they would end the race at that time. So that's what was announced before the race. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't actually remember much of what happened like during the race. I don't like it's. I guess it's hard to hear the announcers and things until you're like right on top of the finish line.
Yeah, so I actually ended up pulling myself. There was a little bit of miscommunication with myself and the motorbike that I just assumed like any normal racer were pulling riders, which they were not. Again, I'd mentally sort of given up on this race, unfortunately. So I pulled myself off. So I was right by the start finish, and we'll come up on it. But when the lightning ends up striking, they simply ended the race. There was no bell lap. They didn't give one more. They just stepped out in the middle of the course and waved everybody off.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we cut ahead. I cut ahead a few laps, and I mean, still in it. So I'm not lapped yet. At some point, the lead group kind of gets on me, but you can see how much more water is on the road now. Like standing water and puddles and things. And I do remember some sort of flashes, but at the time I didn't think it was lightning. I don't know what I thought it was, like flashing lights or things, but yeah. So the only thing I remember is them like kind of going through and then like them whistling and saying stop, basically like we're stopping the race.
Yep.
But so what actually happened with like the lead group when they came through?
So when they came through, they pulled them off in the order they came through. So I mean, they were together. I think it was a group of 4 or 5 at the time that were remaining in that sort of main body off the front. And they, as I said, they stepped out. They whistled them down, and they told everybody to get off at the nearest exit, and we're trying to get everybody under cover. So they paused the race, in their minds at that point. Quickly thereafter, there was some discussion as to whether or not they would, restart the race in the same order, whether they would finish it off. I believe there was 4 laps remaining at the time. So whether they would, restart with 4 remaining, or how they would approach trying to award the winners of the race.
Yeah, yeah, and that was obviously a discussion, but I do remember them, possibly saying that they were gonna like restart it, and so like having discussions while it's absolutely downpouring and thundering and lightning. And like none of the racers are still there; they're all in local buildings that open doors and things, and obviously sopping wet all over their lobby. But
Yeah.
you seem to be just being like super ginger around all these corners now because it is like proper downpour. But so yeah, so they kind of pull. I don't know if it's this lap.
Still
It must
going.
be. Oh yeah. So
There's
this
Zach.
is when. Yeah. So Zach passes me. So this is like being lapped. So he's like proper like still in the race now. Whereas I'm just trying like not to fall over. He's like still attacking. So it looks like there's 4 or 5 riders still in that front group. And I think it's the next lap through where they basically call it.
6.
But so so there's 5, 6, 7. So I think they're still in it too, I guess.
I believe so.
Okay, so it's a slightly bigger group in the front than I was thinking. But yeah, I mean, there was definitely like confusion this next time through about like what was actually going to happen. And obviously, I mean, after so spoiler alert, because we don't actually have like a video of the finish, Zach ends up being the winner, so like declaring Zach as the winner of the race.
Yeah, so there was some question as to how they were going to award the winner. They were going back and forth on whether or not to take the like most combative approach. So who led the most laps through the race, which I believe would have probably been Zach as well. But I think ultimately the decision was made to award the winners based on that last lap, which we just saw them come through. which at that point, Zach was also in the front as they came through the line at that lap.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can imagine that there were some hurt feelings, I'd guess. Yeah. So you see these guys kind of like flagging me and everything here. So like that's it. Like that's done. That's my race done. And then they just like awarded the winner, I guess, whoever went through there. So yeah. I mean, it ended up being that Zach was awarded the winner, and they had a podium and everything. It's just a very strange like end to the race, which is odd.
Very anticlimactic.
Yeah, yeah. But about after the thunder and lightning and everything stopped, an hour later, hour and a half later, we jump into the 3-4 race as well.
We did.
And so we have one more teammate, and then the Bikeworks rider in front of us is Zach as well. And he, kind of not a teammate, but kind of a teammate, friends. And he has an absolutely banger start. Like, he is gone up the road, first one through the corner. And it's lucky because when I came through the corner, it was still sort of wet. And, there's a guy laying in the middle of the road. So,
yep.
But you actually make it through with Ray right on your wheel. So you bust through there.
I think we were fortunate. So Ray mixed his clip in, and he was one of the guys that he's a 3, so we'd planned on working for him and trying to help him out or make some moves his race. So I see that and dropped back, to sort of help guide him back up through the pack, and it worked out fortunate for us because we were not in the mix with all that crash.
Yeah, and that it's funny actually. I think I'm on the exact same guy's wheel that I was in the 4-5 chasing back. So, yeah, I mean that kind of screwed me a little bit because I had big gaps. You guys made it through kind of okay, like you said. So you've brought Ray up to sort of contend in the front. But I say front, but Zach, our teammate / non-official teammate, is like gone. He's like, I can't even see him in the camera. He's like up the road attacked.
Yeah, I think at this point I looked up and they were turning at turn 1 at this point. So it was the whole straightaway.
Yeah, so I mean he just blows the field apart first lap. And we obviously did the race before, so we're like hurting already. I don't know about you, but like that hour and a half-ish break between races, and we were like ice cold in the pouring rain, and now it's like the sun is out and like 90 degrees, and I'm overcooking corners still. I don't know why. But
yeah, it was that in between. It's still damp and slippery, but you're starting to get that confidence and the grip back. But at the same time, you've got all that heat coming up off the ground and steam, and it's just cooking you every lap.
Yeah, definitely. And so I do end up finishing this race, but I was never in the mix or anything. So it's not the greatest of races, but I think Zach hangs in for a little while as well, but I'm sure he was cooked as well just because he did the 4-5 also. But it's somebody who does much better in this race is teammate / not teammate Zach, the other Zach. So he winds up, I think, 9th. Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
9th. Yeah. So I mean that was a nice result for him. So we didn't really talk about the course. So this is the first time that they've done this race up at State College. I mean, obviously the first time that it's been the state championship race, but done. That's it. But the course was nice, and they did a really good job with the organization and everything. So, hopefully they bring it back in subsequent years.
Yeah, it's definitely a good race. I mean, it was well organized, it was well put together. Again, they can't control the weather. So, it was, talking to people afterwards, it looks like they have the ability to bring it back hopefully a couple more years. So, it seemed like the town really got behind it they were aware, but I think the rain held a lot of people off from actually coming out and spectating. So hopefully you can get some momentum for future years. It was a good race.
Yeah, definitely. And a good time sort of hanging out for the weekend and just talking bikes and racing and all that. So we hung out Saturday night as well, and then did a nice ride Sunday morning. So yeah, it's great.
Definitely a good weekend.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and stop it there. We don't have any like fun finish line footage because maybe next time.
Maybe next time. We'll get there.
Yeah. But thanks for actually joining me. And we have a race in a couple of weeks. So you doing Ardmore in a couple of weeks?
That's the plan. I think it's August 10th. Sunday, August 10th is Ardmore. It's a 4.5 and a 3.4 again. So hopefully we can double up and like you said, one of these weekends we'll get some finish line footage.
Yeah, that's always the goal. Finish.
Yep.
Finish the race. Yeah. But I think we're getting there. So getting much better. But anyway, yeah. So thanks for joining me, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks for having me.